All right. Welcome back to another live stream, ladies and gents. How are we all doing? The markets are literally on fire. So we're going to be covering what this could mean for us here in this live stream. So, as usual, let me get an audio visual check off you guys. Let me know if you can see me okay and if you can hear me okay. I know that the lighting is a little bit weird today. And to be honest, I couldn't figure out why. So we're kind of stuck with this. Because I could just not go live and fix it. But we're already like 8 minutes late. So, yeah, we're kind of just dealing with this right now. But let me know what's going on. Welcome to the live chat. Welcome to the live stream. Shout out to those of you tuning in to the third live stream here in 24 hours. See who we got in the chat. As you're coming in, smash up those likes. We'll get the wrecked cam on the right hand side as usual. You know I like that wrecked cam. Today it truly is a wrecked cam, isn't it? So we've got the minute time frame right here parked up on the right hand side. And Bitcoin to match on the hourly here on the left hand side. So welcome to the live stream, everybody. Smash up those likes as you are coming in. All right, I need to fix the light here. This is not good. How do I do this? All right, that should help. That should make some difference. All right, let's see what we got in the live chat. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. Smash up those likes as you are coming in. Let me know where you're watching from in the world and how you're feeling about these markets today. Higher lows, welcome. Dave Newborn. GeoRider, what's going on? 𝗙𝗘𝗟𝗟𝗢𝗪, Big Daryl, 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗢𝗪. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. Yeah, we've got a little bit of a Bitcoin dip today. Bitcoin set a brand new fresh all-time high. It came pretty close to 125k. But it wasn't able to hold on to those gains, unfortunately. So that's what we're dealing with right here today. We're going to be breaking all of this down, and we're going to be analyzing this in real time as the chart continues to develop. Am I on a treadmill? Yes, I am. I am indeed on a walking treadmill right here in the office. Because we're on that grind again, ladies and gents. So welcome, everybody. Smash them up as you are coming in. Let's get this thing up to above 50 likes to kick this stream off. See you and hear me. Thank you very much. Is there strong resistance at 118? I mean, we're above 118, so I wouldn't say so. Maybe support. It might be support, but not really. It seems like a bit of a mushy range as well. CPI data is inflated. It will come back in a couple months with revised numbers. This is manipulation. Sure. Sure. At least there's volatility. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, yeah, I get it. This is going to be frustrating for people. But be grateful for what we have. You know? Like, we've got volatility. We've got movement in the market. That's kind of rare these days. So, you know, let's just appreciate that a little bit. GeoRider, this should be a fun day. I should have stayed home today. I don't know, dude. It's like I always say, like, if you're ready to make trading decisions while sitting in front of the charts 24/7, you're probably going to lose a lot of money in those sessions. I don't know. You might be different. Obviously, there are always exceptions to these things, but for the most part, it's usually a pretty bad idea. Welcome, everybody. Smash up those likes. Let's get this thing above 50. And let me know where in the world you're watching from today. How many of you guys were here for both of our live streams? in the last 24 hours. This is the third one. How many of you guys were here for both of the previous ones? We've been streaming at all sorts of hours, covering quite a lot. How many of you are here for that? Let me know. Shout out to Sylvia. What's going on? Dunder, Funder. All my stop losses triggered. Well, hopefully they were at least at break even. Hopefully. What's up, Belgium? How you doing? Mark Jackson Music. What's going on? BTC Nation was here. Dave Mewborn was here. Hell yeah. You're going to the gym. Love that. I've been here for all of them, man. Thank you very much. BetaBot, I got to go to work tonight. I got to work tonight. Yep, good stuff. Alright, man. Take care. Thanks for tuning in. Netherlands. What's going on, Netherlands? As long as the shy... I don't know what you're saying, bro. Some of these comments are weird. Like, they don't make sense. Good stuff. Yes for all three. Love that. Love that. Smash them up, ladies and gents. We're just a couple away from 50. Let's take a look at these charts. Let's break down what we've been seeing here. Yeah, so we got that pop. So the all-time high was here. We got that pop above the all-time high. And it resulted in... It was a 1% pump above the all-time high, which is good. I still maintain that that's good. I still like the idea of a 1% move. Obviously, we couldn't hold on to it, but answers will be revealed to us in this chart, ladies and gents. Okay, because this chart, wow, huge spike in open interest. Because this chart is going to show us what kind of positions we're opening. Was it longs? Was it shorts? It's kind of like a cheat code to tell us exactly what actually happened in the market. So let's just wait for all this to load up. I don't really know why it's taking so long. This is not normal. At work right now, hoping for further dip. Timed the top perfectly, sitting heavy on stables right now. Fair enough, bro. Fair enough. Good stuff. What's going on? What are you doing, 𝐶𝐈𝗟𝗟𝗓𝗓? Refresh the page and see if that helps. CVD. What we got? There we go. There we go. So, basically, a shitload of longs have entered. Okay. Well, that's not good. That's not good. Okay. Why am I saying that's not good? Well, let's see how the drop went first of all. Actually, we're not even on the 15-minute. Right, so open interest just absolutely spiking from here. And basically more or less still spiking up until right now. Originally, at the beginning, there was some, right here, there was some shorts kind of entering the market. You can see CVD drop in here. Right here, CVD drop in. So there was initially, I can't speak, there was initially some shorts. That's now flipped the script, and it's now longs, building up, building up, building up in this range. Still building up right now. And the longs aren't working. So, yeah, we might see this dip, like, right now. Yeah. Because I don't know how much faith I'm going to have in this if everyone's going long and the price doesn't move up. Yeah, that's like about the worst thing that could happen. Oh yeah, and then there's yeah. Cool. So we'll be breaking this down throughout this live stream. We might see that break happen during this live. Yeah, we might see that drop happen during this stream here. So we'll keep an eye on all this and see how it goes. But any buying opportunities? Yeah, I think there's probably a lot of buying opportunities right now, actually. I tell you, one thing that I'm really liking is just the fact that dominance has stayed low. You know, like, if Bitcoin takes a shit like this, but dominance is also staying low, that's a really good sign for the health of the market. Because it means that people are not scared, like, in terms of risk appetite. Obviously, in this live chat and across Twitter and a couple other places, obviously, you will be seeing some fear. But the numbers don't reflect that. You know, usually when there's a Bitcoin dump, and usually when that dump is a problem, Bitcoin dominance goes up because people are looking for a safe haven. So, you know, I really think that's a, you know, factor worthy of consideration. Now, in light of this, Ethereum has also managed to set a new, you know, local high within its trend at 0.39 BTC per token. So, you know, I think Bitcoin's kind of helped Ethereum achieve that. Other coins are holding really well. Solana, for example, you know, looking really good. It's holding against Bitcoin, which I think is the most important thing. Found a little bit of resistance. That's not concerning. Look at Cardano. Cardano is in really good posture. It actually broke out above the resistance level that we were watching for quite some time. And, you know, it doesn't really have resistance anymore on this chart. You know, like, if you just look at this, like, there's not really a whole lot left for Cardano to overcome. And it's definitely overcome the key resistance levels against Bitcoin that it needed to. Rich saying, these are the grounded facts we come here for. Absolutely, sir. You're bang on correct. Just connected, and for a minute there, I thought you were playing Dance Dance Revolution. Brilliant. Brilliant. Smash up those likes, ladies and gents. We got a Bitcoin crash right now. Bitcoin just set a brand new all-time high yesterday. And we are sitting back down at 118K. That's effectively a $5,000 drop from Bitcoin's all-time high. So there's lots to be covering right here in this live stream. Smash them up, ladies and gents. Let's push this thing above 100 likes here. And let's run it. Devine, what's going on from Washington, D.C.? Watched both live streams, including the one where you were the treadmill trader. Brilliant. Well, we're back on the treadmill today. How's D.C.? Have they deployed, like, the National Guard or something? Wasn't there some federal troops they've deployed there? What was that about? Is it because there were too many degenerates on the street? Or is he, like... Is Trump just trying to make D.C. feel a little bit more like a government city? like what is it? Yeah, welcome everyone. Let me know where you're watching from as you are coming in here. Smash up those likes. After all-time high, there are no bears. Clearly, there are some bears. Am I British? Yes, I am. Good time to close the gap. Yeah, fair enough. Those of you looking for that CME gap are going to be getting a little bit of relief off this right now. So yeah, I see that. Hi, Sammy. Long time. Greetings from Holland. Cardano and Solana are my bets. What's going on, Paul? Nice to see you back in the stream. DC, like Vatican and City of London, is its own country. Frank's from Germany, where we like to pay taxes. Oh, you guys love paying taxes there, don't you? Oh, I can tell. I can tell. Greece. What's going on, Greece? Nice one. We've got a Bart Simpson formation, apparently. Let's see. Well, it's definitely, like, the worst fucking daily candle you could ask for. So far. I mean, you know, like, as far as daily candles go, this one's pretty cooked. Just purely off the basis that it's a massive bearish engulfing. You know, just purely for that reason. It's a massive bearish engulfing, and bearish engulfing candles are always a bad thing. They're not always a bad thing, but they're typically a bad thing. Let's see. Bitcoin's just pushing that 18K level again. We've just slipped below 18K here again. I'm saying 18, obviously I mean 118K, but you know, that's a lot of extra syllables. So I'm just removing the first digit in that number. and we're just kind of saying it easily. Sergeant Squid subscribed. Thank you very much. Of course, those of you that are new to the channel, you're getting realistic, grounded, highly offensive analysis. If that sounds like something that you're interested in, then smash them up. And double check, of course, that you are subscribed to the channel. Bitcoin right now sitting at $117,958. And still actively trying to push down. Slight recovery here. But the bears are really trying to push. Yeah, lots of opportunities in the altcoins, though, that I think are going to be worth looking at very soon. So we're going to get into those in just a minute. It's just this daily candle, ladies and gents, you know, that I think is kind of jarring, you know, like we've got 8 hours left and it's a very volatile market. So I do expect this to change in 8 hours. How long do I want to be walking? I mean, you know, I hit like 9,500 steps on the previous live stream. So that would be nice to do that again. You know, I can't do less than that, can I? That would be wrong. And it really depends on how long we go live for, you know, as well. If we're live for a little bit, then, you know, obviously those steps will come in naturally. But yeah, it's not a nice candle, but there's so much else going on here that's really good for Bitcoin. For example, we've got the daily EMA ribbon. Pretty much nearly hit that wick. Didn't quite happen, but it nearly hit that wick. That's the daily EMA. 4-hour EMA ribbon. We've lost it completely. That's not great. 4-hour Ichimoku. We're going to find support here if Bitcoin can trade sideways here for 2 days. We just need to stay here for 2 days. So that's not bad at all. You know, and definitely something that I think the market could pull off. Bear with, guys. I want to see if I can get my Twitter up here as well, so that we can read the shit post kind of going on over there. See if I can pull this up real quick. Twitter always feels so dangerous to open up these days, guys. You know, like it's like I don't know what I'm gonna end up showing on stream by accident, but it's fine. It's fine. We got Twitter pulled up right here, and let's see what's going on the, yeah, we got a little bit of red today, boys. We got a little bit of red today. Trader XO saying that this was just a flush out of traders. And that's my first reading. Oh, it's Pakistan's Independence Day. Happy Independence Day to you guys. You know, that's my, this is what I'm talking about. Crypto Twitter's too horny. You see what I'm saying? But Google has acquired 8% stake in Bitcoin miner TerraWolf in a $3.7 billion deal. Okay, that sounds interesting. Yeah, I think this is it, right? Like we've got essentially a lot of things have reset off the back of this pump. Man said scroll up, he didn't see it properly. We've got a lot of good developments here that have happened off the back of this pump, and I think one of the main ones is obviously, you know, the market has reset now quite a bit. And like I said, this is happening against the backdrop of, you know, a weak Bitcoin dominance chart, which again, like, how can Bitcoin dominance be weak if people are actually scared in this market? I don't think so. You know what I mean? And then it's the S&P 500 as well, which, you know, it's seen a little bit of a dip just now, but, you know, the S&P is still looking pretty good. Obviously, that Trump-Putin meeting happens tomorrow. We've kind of ran out of runway as far as kind of the hype of that meeting tomorrow. You know, you've got today and tomorrow to play out. I don't know what time they're meeting tomorrow. But, you know, presumably sometime Alaska daytime, which is like, isn't that like Hawaii time or something? It's like possibly the second most irrelevant time zone in the world. So, you know, there's probably still some runway, you know, for speculation, but I think probably for the most part it's over. And I think that's kind of being reflected a tiny bit here. But what's really good is just the fact that, you know, there was so much riding on Bitcoin up here that's now been reset, which means that you know, effectively you can just start targeting those higher levels again. Now, I'm not getting confidence from this chart, okay? Because this is where Bitcoin topped out, obviously. And we didn't really see any significant decrease in open interest, you know, or in other words, open interest didn't really drop massively, which to me is an indication that, you know, not a lot of positions got stopped out, neither on the way up nor even on the way down, which doesn't even make sense. It's almost like I'm not looking at the right data, but I am. So I don't really know. Maybe one of you guys have a read on that, but that's definitely, you know, not a sign of traders getting flushed out. And if it's not a sign of traders getting flushed out, then why the hell did this happen? You know, and it probably just means, you know, there was some taking profit action going on. And a lot of scared hands. And I think this really proves what phase of the market we're in. You know, I've been saying this now for quite a long time, quite regularly. I've been saying this on this channel, that I firmly believe that we're nowhere near the end of this market cycle. And how can we be if Bitcoin breaks the all-time high? And I'm reading the chat, like there's a lot of like fear and anxiety even as the price is pumping above its all-time high. And to me, that is not reminiscent of a bull market coming to an end. Okay, if I'm seeing that actually every time we rally, every time we break the all-time high, minutes afterwards, I've got the live chat just exhibiting massive levels of anxiety. To me, that sounds more like a disbelief rally. And we know where disbelief rallies come. They come at the end of a bear market or at the beginning of a bull market. You know, and I'm not saying that we're, you know, that early on either, because we're not. But we clearly have a very traumatized market. And a traumatized market isn't going to set a blow off top. It's just going to be slow because no one's actually engaging. So it's only when that psychology starts getting to very extreme levels that you really start to tap into, you know, all of those other elements of mass market psychology that drive our crypto markets to be so crazy. And we clearly haven't seen that. You know, like, how it would actually look. Please take note of this, yeah? If you, like me, if you're interested in market psychology, if you feel like you like reading people's minds and all that good stuff, then please listen carefully to this next part I'm about to say. When the bull market is actually raging, and when things are actually kind of reaching later phases, you'll get a pop above the all-time high, or you'll get a dip below the all-time high, whatever it is. And no matter what happens, the market will be very, very bullish. The market will not be able to perceive any move in the market as bearish. That's how it looks in the later stages of a bull market. And it makes sense, right? Because then there's so much, like, denial, basically, of the idea that a coin can pull back, that even when it does pull back, nobody really takes that seriously. Everybody's still saying, yeah, but it's just standard procedure. We dip 20% and then we're up again after 5 days. And the reason that people build that kind of mentality is because they've seen that happen throughout the market cycle. They've seen countless times, like right now, where the market dips below concerning levels and then recovers against all odds. And when that happens enough time, you're going to build a base of followers that vehemently believe that the coin will keep going up forever. That's clearly not where we're at. How do I know that? Again, it's sentiment. People have a lot of anxiety, even if we're breaking the all-time high. That needs to flip. You got too many naysayers right now. It needs to flip in the other direction. Too many people are rationally confident. And I don't think we're anywhere near that right now, just given, you know, everything that we're seeing here. But open interest chart here, yeah, I don't love it. I definitely don't love it. Because why are there so many longs coming in right now? And why didn't we see a lot of shorts getting liquidated earlier? Or longs getting liquidated earlier? Right? There was a big drop here. A lot of longs could have gotten liquidated, but it didn't happen. There was a little bit. There was clearly a little bit. But what we've done now is a lot more extreme. TA is the study of squiggles and lines that reflect the sentiment of traders. Yes, not all traders are humans. That is a really, like, very oversimplified view of this, and I don't think that's right at all. When I say TA, to me what it means is we're analyzing mass market psychology through numbers, patterns, charts. So yeah, humans, but what we need to understand about bots is that a lot of the bots that are at play in the market are not at play trying to change trends or establish trends in any significant way. They can pull off massive U-turns like this. Bots can definitely do this. But bots will never really produce long-lasting directions in the market. So if it's not long-lasting, we can also categorize it as noise. Okay? So what do we do with noise? We ignore it. We ignore noise because it's not useful to us. So what do we look at instead then? Instead, if we acknowledge that the bot movements are noise, what's really happening is that humans are going to be driving the larger moves in the market. So be it the larger trends of BTC and Ethereum, you know, ETH BTC charts, the larger trends of BTC dominance, or of course the larger trends of Bitcoin itself. These are things that are human driven, whether that's institutions, retails, you know, Trump family, whatever. These are the things that really move the market. Bots just create noise around that. They can also accentuate that, but they're still only able to play off what the market gives them. Bots are very reactive, right? In that sense. What a buzzkill today is after yesterday. I mean, yeah and no, to be honest, bro. Like, you know, any volatility is really, really good. Anything like this really flushes the market out. What this does every time this kind of thing happens is it really tilts market participants and puts them in a bad place mentally, psychologically. And that makes, you know, like if you guys are like familiar with poker, when a player gets tilted, when a player gets like, I don't know, like something that really messes them up in the head, their behavior becomes a lot more predictable. So, that's where we're at now, you know, and I think that's why, like, I mean, you'll never really hear me complaining about any price move, you know, like bullish or bearish. It doesn't really happen. And obviously, you know, the reason for that is because I'm here to make money, you know, and if the market's changing, that's okay. There's another way to make money, always. And we're going to cover a lot of what I'm seeing here in the market throughout this live stream. Let's smash up those likes for now, though, ladies and gents. I need to get this thing above 100. We're going to take a look at some altcoins after we do that. To be honest, I think we need to get this above 150. I know we can do that. That should be easy. But let's smash them up if you haven't done so already. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. Optimus Prime, what's going on? Yeah, no problem, Davina. Absolutely my pleasure. We need less of emotion from Adam. Am I looking to long this support level? It's a nice support level, isn't it? But it's not holding very well. Look at Bitcoin right here on the minute time frame. Now, I understand, of course, it's the minute time frame, but, you know, there's more liquidity flowing through the markets right now, and it's clearly not looking good. Like, it's clearly not looking good. So I think that's a problem. Yeah. I do believe that's a problem. And we're going to see what happens. You know, this could end up dipping while we're live. We're like 4 likes away from 100, ladies and gents. Smash them up. If it's not you yet, if you haven't done it yet, smash it up. Let's go finally finish my degree and can lock back in on the streams again. Good stuff, man. Congratulations. Jason, is that you? No, sir. I'm not Jason Casper. I'm not Jason Casper. They're flushing out the longs for an even bigger pump. I mean, that's what you would think, right? But we looked at 𝐶𝐿𝐼 and longs are not liquidated. In fact, longs have been building, which is concerning. Bitcoin dominance is taking a little bit of a move up right now. Let's take a look at that on the left-hand side. Tiny, tiny move up, but it's moving. So let's see if that continues here. It does look like it's trying to push. Would I say BTC.D is a good exit indicator? It depends on what you mean by that. But like I said, if Bitcoin dominance is low while Bitcoin is crashing, that to me is a pretty good sign. And here's Bitcoin dipping right now. It's just set a new low here from the last few minutes, I think, like since we started the stream. And it is continuing to slide lower as we speak. This time Bitcoin dominance is rising up with it. So this is definitely like the representation of, you know, if Bitcoin is crashing and dominance goes up, people are kind of exiting those riskier coins, looking for safer places to go. Mike says there's just something sexy about another man walking on a treadmill. Damn, brilliant. Okay, thank you. Long building is concerning. I mean, like, ideally you would want to see a lot of longs getting liquidated, right? Because if longs get liquidated, now you've got space for more longs, right? But that's not what we're seeing. We're seeing the opposite. Longs are not getting liquidated, and longs are building. So, I mean, if you want to stop hunt something, it's easier to stop hunt that thing if, you know, if there's a lot of it, right? Like if there's a lot of longs and there's a lot of liquidity to stop them out, like when you stop them out, that's the concern, and that's the only concern, I think. Bitcoin dominance still traveling a little bit higher here. Yeah, we just passed 100 likes. Thank you all very much, ladies and gents, for smashing them up. Apparently, we've got a CME gap coming up. Let's see where that CME gap is now, because this is definitely more relevant at this stage. On the hourly. And I believe this is the gap that everybody and their grandmother wants to see filled. Which we've already filled in large part. It kind of stretches from here down to about here. Yo, by the way, any of you guys playing the Battlefield 6 beta today, because it's just gone up today, hit me up on one of my socials. Send me a DM with your name, whatever. We'll make a group and run it. That'll be fun. That'll be really cool if you're playing Battlefield 6 today for that beta. But here's the gap right here. This gap stretches down to 117,420. Yeah, I mean, I don't like gaps. I don't care about them. But, you know, it definitely looks like this one is, you know, it's got a chance to fill. Polymarket odds for September 25 basis point rate cut dropping from 90s to 70s percentile. Sure, but that kind of fluctuation on Polymarket is very normal. Polymarket is a very irrational betting market, and there's not that much liquidity going through those markets either, so those swings are not something I really pay attention to. James, shit, I forgot about Battlefield 6. Well, we were talking about that the other day. Yeah, bro, it's the open beta. The last open beta is live today. So, and it's on PS5. So I'm just going to play it on PS5. It's easier than... I mean, PC is the only way to do it, really. It's the right way to play Battlefield, but... You know, if I'm out, you know, if I'm here in my office, I don't want to play video games. You know what I mean? Video games are for the living room. I don't know. I might change my mind on that, but yeah. So we've got that CME gap there that we can watch out for. Bitcoin is desperately trying to hold on. So we're gonna see how this continues to go. $117,916 right now as we speak. Bitcoin is trying, but it looks like it might sweep that low. We'll have to see how this goes. Slight dip coming in here. Smash them up, ladies and gents, as you are entering the live stream here. Let's get this thing above 150 likes. Battlefield 6 is even in the beta already, full with cheaters. Yeah, I've heard about that. Probably another reason to play on PS5, right? Let's check some alts. They aren't getting hit too hard. Yeah, you're right. So... the first alt I want to look at is Trump. Because I don't really know why, but I'm just interested in it. So it's already dipped all the way down to $8.70. It ended up hitting $10.20 up here. And this actually looks like a pretty nice support level right here. So that might be something to watch. I don't really know what this pattern is, you know, given that it's expanding over here. Obviously, we would call this a broadening wedge, but really, what the fuck is a broadening wedge? You know what I mean? So far, Battlefield 6 is okay, in my opinion. I mean, you know what, man? Like, as long as it's not, like, extremely gay, like everything in the last few years has been, it's gonna be worth playing. You know? Like, if it just makes me feel like I'm, like, you know, 15 again, with no cares in the world, playing some video games, that would be nice. That would be enough. I love how you can make money with short orders in less than 20 minutes, almost every trade. Absolutely, yeah. There's so many ways you can make money in these markets, ladies and gents. Obviously, 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗓 right here, the team has been posting exclusive chart setup updates in 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗟, for those of you that are signed up using this link. It's really interesting. So it's like a social platform where you've kind of got like a Twitter feed for our team. And we're just telling you the charts we're looking at and the things that we're interested in. But you've also got, obviously, proof of, you know, one-to-one reserves. You've got great liquidity. All the buttons are in the same place. It's a very familiar exchange. But when you sign up using that link, you're also going to get thousands of dollars for free to trade with. So that's just free money you can throw into the market. If you make profits, you withdraw those profits. That's your money. So super, super cool stuff. You can check all that out with the link in the description here, only if you're not from a restricted region. Bybit, same deal here, as far as being a phenomenal exchange. But they now also offer traditional finance. So if you want to trade Tesla stock, gold, stuff like that, that is now a possibility on Bybit as well. Bybit remains the best player in the game by far. So check them out as well, if you are interested. Very, very cool. But yeah, Trump coin right here looking interesting. That puts a buy zone for Trump somewhere at about $8.77. There's Bitcoin dipping down right now. It's just set a brand new low, unfortunately, right there. $117,700. And moving on. So Bitcoin continuing to dip here as well. We'll just keep an eye on all of this as we continue to go on in this live stream. If you've got questions, things you want me to look at, let me know. And we're going to be flipping between alts as we continue on here. Bitcoin dominance is definitely still pushing. If we take a look at Bitcoin dominance on this ultra short time frame, it is still moving up as the price is going down. So this is kind of a little bit more in line with what we're expecting. And yeah, we'll just have to, we'll keep watching this. I don't want to keep on kind of trying to pull conclusions where they don't necessarily exist. But here's Solana. You know, it's dipping down a little bit right now with Bitcoin, but you know, it's just in such a good place that I'm not worried about it. I think, you know, one of the really fun things that we can start doing now is we can start throwing fibs on the chart. We can start throwing fibs on everything and seeing where some interesting kind of levels could be for the market. So I think that's really cool. Bitcoin, $117,536. It's dropping. It's dropping. It's dropping. Ethereum against Bitcoin, small drop here. I think if Ethereum can kind of get below 0.37, 0.38, yeah, I mean specifically 0.38, that's probably going to be an indication of some pretty nasty follow-through for Ethereum against Bitcoin. We'll see. We'll see. That's, you know, it's a little bit premature to kind of get worried about any of this stuff right now, in my opinion. I just removed ETH BTC from my watch list. Let me add that back in. Right there. Put that right there. Bitcoin at 117.6. It's trying, bro. Bitcoin's trying. And, you know, this is essentially kind of starting to put us toward the bottom of this range again. So our next kind of speculative zone of support is going to be at about 116.9, which is only about $800 away. Try standing on one foot on a blackboard or foot ankle training board while doing your live streams. Is that like to embarrass me? Is that why you're saying that? So close to 150 likes, ladies and gents. Smash them up. Welcome to the live stream. Yeah, Bitcoin's pushing up right now. And this is it. Like, this is the kind of, like, thing that really matters here is, like, as it pushes up here, is it going to find more resistance at lower levels? Because if it does, that kind of cements that Bitcoin's headed back down to the bottom of this range. If this range fails, then, you know, we're kind of back down to 112. But I've been telling you guys for a while, I don't think 112 is going to hold. And I still believe that to be the case. I'm getting scanned by my Apple Watch right now, boys. It's not counting my steps properly. But yeah, I think support down at 116.9 makes sense. There's a lot of indicators that help Bitcoin down there. You know, like if we first of all, we've got this, you know, beautiful channel that we've been so acutely aware of. We back tested it and rallied and set a brand new all-time high, which in and of itself is fantastic. But since then, we're back down to it again. This is still support. This is still support, and I think that's why the dump has stopped here temporarily. The dump was pretty aggressive until it reached this level, and now it's slowed down. So, I do think that this is quite important to be looking at. But if you've already bounced off this level once, and you're now back down to this level again, that's not good. You know, and especially the fact that it's not been long. It's the same thing we say on the upside. Okay, like on this occasion here, we hit resistance at 122, and then 2 days later we were here again, and then 5 hours later we were there again. That kind of thing is really bad if you're a bear, because it shows that we're regularly, aggressively attacking the same level. That means that level is probably going to break. But now we're doing it here, on the downside as well. And unfortunately, it works both ways. I do want to take this opportunity to say that if this dip is happening, and you're over-allocated, you're too deep, perhaps in the wrong direction, whatever the case may be, it's time to start revising some of your strategies, ladies and gents. Okay? If a dip like this is fucking you up, you probably had quite a number of things going wrong in your trading style before this point. They will go wrong again if you don't do anything about them. I can't stress that enough. They will go wrong again. And depending on your account balance, that could be, you know, quite catastrophic losses as well, that you really just don't need to have. We've got a very powerful one-to-one program. I know many of you guys have been reaching out about this over the last couple of days. It's a 12-week program. You work directly with me, and we will unfuck everything. We've never not been able to do it. Everybody that's ever joined has managed to recover their investment fee very shortly after joining because of how powerful this program is. It is expensive, but there's definitely something special going on here. Like I say, eventually someone's going to mess this up, but we're selective with who we take on. If you want to get inside, then you can message a member of the team right here with this link, and they will get you that information for you. Smash up those likes, ladies and gents. If you are just tuning in here, closing in on 150, it definitely must be worth it. I agree with you. I agree with you. I want to see 116k within the hour. That would be nice. That would be nice. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I love seeing blood as well, you know? Like, it's more fun. It's fun both ways. As long as something's moving, it's fun. What am I thinking about where XRP is at? I bet XRP hasn't moved. Oh, it has. It's down 6%. Okay. Okay, never mind. So, XRP managed to bounce off $3 flat. That's a really good sign. That's really good. Because this is a nice round level for XRP. I think if XRP can hold this, it's probably going to stay in pretty good posture. But to be honest, XRP is such an irrational coin that it could even dip down to like $1.90. And I wouldn't be worried. You know, like, XRP just kind of wakes up whenever it wants to wake up. So if it's struggling now, that doesn't really affect how I view it, because it has strength in very short bursts. And they're very unpredictable when those bursts happen, which is why I don't like trading XRP. But it's great if you hold it, because you don't really need to worry about it. You can literally, you know, be the taxi driver that buys XRP and not open Binance for 12 months. And then you're up massively. You know, but don't expect XRP to kind of, you know, pave the way or anything like that. It doesn't really do stuff like that. What I like is XRP is kind of coming down to some of these nicer levels here, you know, against Bitcoin. This is what I really like, you know, because Bitcoin dominance has lost so much of its standing over the last weeks. But altcoins haven't taken that standing from Bitcoin. It's only Ethereum. It's only Ethereum that took that strength away from Bitcoin, that took that dominance, more importantly, away from Bitcoin. Which means that we're really not done. You know, like there's tons more opportunities to make big money in altcoins that could potentially go. Nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. You know, you go watch some other dickhead on YouTube and they'll tell you, you know, these are the best 5 coins to buy for August of 2025. Get your 10x, get your 100x. Those are dangerous. Those ideas are dangerous. You and I, we need to understand that nothing is guaranteed in these markets. What's that saying? Like, the only 2 things that are guaranteed in life are death and taxes. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, an alt season is not guaranteed. But it's highly likely now, from everything that I'm seeing. Bitcoin is just getting ready for another leg down over here. Let's see if this kind of progresses and gets worse. We'll be watching this tight on the right-hand side of the screen here. You know, nothing is guaranteed. Alt season isn't guaranteed either, but the fact that Ethereum ran so well definitely paves the way for people to start speculating on other altcoins. So that's the really, really good news here. And it is genuinely really, really good news. So I definitely like that. All right. So that's XRP. Let's see what else is looking interesting. Binance coin is always strong. Let's see if it's still strong right now. Yes, it is. Binance coin doesn't give a shit. Binance coin is like, this dump is not my problem. That's what Binance coin is saying. Binance coin says that this dump is not my problem. And it is just pushing higher against Bitcoin right now. It's got quite a serious level of resistance right here that it's fighting up against right now. But how much of a problem is that going to be? I mean, it's been fighting this resistance level for how long? Over a year? It started fighting this level in November of 23. That's nearly 2 years ago now. Can you believe that? That's nearly 2 years ago. So, you know, it's obviously going to break that resistance level at some point, I feel. Nothing is guaranteed. We've made that clear, but I feel. So, you know, if it does, it's probably going to get quite explosive. It's probably going to be able to rise up to, you know, something like 0.12 BTC per token, which is a 60% move. And granted, like, this is a 60% move, but it's on a really big, you know, stable, safe coin. As far as cryptocurrencies go. All right, there's the dump for Bitcoin. It's pushing down again. We'll keep an eye on this and see how this continues to move. But Binance coin definitely looking good if it can get above these resistance level. Cardano has already done that. Cardano against Bitcoin already had a resistance level kind of similar to that. And it's managed to overcome it. Which, you know, this is something that we've been tracking on this channel quite a bit. This blue box right here. Pretty important level. Now, there's more. I guess you could say that there's another, you know, pretty interesting, important resistance level right here as well. You know, so it hasn't ended for Cardano. But, you know, it's clear that some coins are kind of slightly further ahead than others and so on and so forth. BlackRock and Swift News will pop XRP. Definitely possible. Definitely possible. We're 3 likes away from 150, ladies and gents. Smash them up if you haven't done so already. You absolute legends. Bitcoin's dipping down right here. 117,603. Still moving down right here. Let's see if we sweep that low. If Bitcoin does sweep that low, we're already well aware of where it's going next. We're probably going to end up seeing this 117k level. 116.9, sorry. Which is, of course, the bottom of our support zone. We're very close to sweeping that low right here, ladies and gents. So we'll be keeping an eye on this right here. Still time left in this cycle. 500 days after halving is where the magic happens. You know, you got a good point. You got a good point, yeah. You're about right with that time frame. 𝐶𝐂𝐈𝐄𝐻. You're paying attention, bro. I like that. The halving was what? Like April last year, right? So April last year, that's 365 days, and now we're like 4 months forward. What's 4 months in days? 120. So we're at about like day 480 after the halving. Can someone correct me on that? I'm sure there's a way to search this up. How many days since BTC halving? And 480 days, I think, is kind of where we're at. I don't know which website is going to show this to me. I don't really look at stuff like this that often. Bear with. Let's see. See what we got. And yes, we are still walking, ladies and gents, for anyone wondering. Just trying to get those steps in, that's all. Nothing crazy. How long has it been? Well, this website doesn't say. I know you can't see my screen. That's okay. April 20, 2024. That was the last halving. We're orange right now. One sec. How many steps did I already do today? I'm not sure. I wasn't wearing my watch for the whole day. But that's okay. That's okay. But I know that right here, I'm getting scammed on it because my hand is actually on my desk. Not all the time, but some of the time. So it's been, what's going on, Ghost? You alright? You okay, mate? Yeah, you're a good boy. You're a good boy. Ghost, fry. Nay. Fry. Fry. Good boy. Laney. He's a really good boy. Yeah, it's been 510 days since the last halving. So you got a really good point there, CBK. You know, having a halving happen and then kind of creating this much distance from it this is usually where a lot of that magic does end up happening. So, you know, this is what I'm saying is that we're clearly not in like a concerning place overall, like at all, in my opinion, not even close. And it's really silly to say that we are, in my opinion, with everything firing off so well. But there's Bitcoin dipping below 117.5. Crashing hard right now. Just on a minute time frame, to be fair. It's not that hard. But it is definitely continuing that dip right here. It's fighting, it's trying, but it's not able to keep itself up, unfortunately. Bitcoin just can't keep it up, ladies and gents. Welcome to everybody tuning in. As you know, or as you're about to figure out, this is going to be the most grounded, realistic TA channel you'll find on YouTube. We're all about just making cash in the markets. Nothing else. Nothing else. A lot of other people are here for thrills. A lot of other people are here for excitement. Maybe a sense of camaraderie. Maybe you're a little bit lonely. You want some brotherhood while you trade. We don't do any of that shit. We're just here for money. We're just here for money. We're just here to find good setups and to execute safely. That's it. A very, very simple mission statement. And something that we live every single day on this channel. So if you're not already subscribed, smash them up, ladies and gents. Smash them up. Where are we at? Yeah, Bitcoin's trying. 117.6. It's really pushing for that recovery here. So we'll see how this continues to play out for Bitcoin on this chart. Alright, we've been live for an hour. An hour live. I'm here to see someone working out on a treadmill. Oh, well, that sounded good in my mind. Looks weird when typed out. It does look a little bit weird when typed out, but that's okay. You're not the first one in this live chat today, are you? Yeah, no, definitely. Look, man. As long as the analysis is there, you guys are getting value. I'm getting my steps in. We're all winning. We're all winning. I wish I did this for my whole life. This is the easiest way to lose fat I've ever found in my life. Because the problem with people doing any sort of cardio is that it's boring, or difficult, or tedious. But you don't have that problem if your mind is occupied while you do it. I don't really have that problem anyway. But if it helps me turn 10k a day into 15k a day, then that's sick. That's well worth it. Nice, thank you, Sammy, for the 3rd live stream in 12 hours. Yes, sir, it is. Maybe a little bit more than 12 hours now. I agree with moving stop losses to break even, though for taking partial profits along the way, wouldn't that skew risk to reward profiles? I don't know exactly what you're asking. I don't fully understand your question. But, taking profits along the way is, like, one of the best things you could do, man. You know? Especially in a market like this, where you have gains and they're very fleeting. Your gains don't stick around in this market. Depending on, you know, what kind of time frame you're trading, of course. But most people are trading quite short-term stuff. If you guys appreciate all these live streams, smashed up the likes for all 3. Thank you very, very much, Daveen. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. We're going to pin that comment right there. Smash the like button for Sammy. Thank you, Tin Man. Really appreciate it. It's never a bad thing to have guaranteed profit. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, a lot of people get this wrong, and they think that, you know, obviously, if you take profits, then, you know, you kind of miss out on future gains. And yeah, obviously that math is real, but we've been looking at Cardano quite a bit. Just rewind. Obviously that math is real, but you only have the profit that you secure. You know, like, I'm saying this as someone that's been doing this for 8 years. I've done a lot of celebrating profits that I didn't get to keep. I've done a lot of planning what I would do with profits that I didn't get to keep. Whether that's buying something cool or buying something very cool. You know, I've done a lot of that with profits that I didn't end up keeping. And that's what we really, really don't want to do. That's a really, really bad idea, in my opinion, ladies and gents. Disastrous, actually. Let's just outright say it, it's disastrous. The worst thing you could ever do. You only have the profits that you realize, that you close. And like I said, especially if you're trading short-term right now, this market is not rewarding people who are trying to go for positions that run for a long time. Because those positions, they come up, right? But you'd have to trade it maybe like 5 times to get there. So you need to get paid in between. That's what I'm saying. You need to get paid for your trades in between. Obviously, sometimes you want a moon bag. Sometimes you want a big moon bag. And that's going to depend on your judgment. Taxes are the things that make you hesitate on the take profits. I don't understand that perspective. You only pay taxes, you know, on the profit anyway. I mean, like, if you're benefiting from the money, you're also going to pay taxes on it. So that kind of makes sense, right? What time frame do I usually trade? I like the 4 hour. I like the 4 hour. I like the 1 hour. Those are my 2 kind of favorites. Yeah, we're going to be looking a lot more at altcoins throughout this live stream. I want to pull up Cardano again and take a look at it with some fib retracements this time, you know, and see if there's anything interesting going on here. So there's a couple of fibs I'm seeing here. Let me take a naked chart. I want a chart that we're going all the way back to mid-late June here for this fib. Now right now we're sitting at the 236. The 382 is looking good. 82 cents. Yeah. Yeah, 82 cents is definitely looking good for Cardano right now. That's going to be That probably translates to like 107k Bitcoin. Maybe higher. Maybe like 110, 112. Probably about 112. 110. But sometimes it's too much depending on your tax systems and the way things are calculated. If the tax man takes 35%, makes you want to aim higher. Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm not defending taxes, dude. Taxes are fucking disgusting, especially when you know what they're spent on. Don't you know, like, you won't get me defending taxes. Like you say, enter a trade with risk to reward of 7 to 1. If you take 30% profit before the target, that would reduce your risk to reward to 5 to 1. You know, there's a... I'm not saying this is you at all, but it might be. There's a class of traders that are, like, super intellectual. Like data scientist nerds type shit. And they say shit like that. And my take is like, bro, like, you're still at 5 to 1. And you've still secured profits. And you've still got your position running. So if you believe in your position, it's still going to keep on making you money. You've also, at this point, if you're taking profits, you've probably got your stop loss around break even. I don't know, it depends. Like, these are factors that I think are a lot more important than did my risk to reward profile change. Or maybe I'm missing something, and maybe I should be viewing it your way. But, I just have a more direct focus on making money, dude. I don't know, there's no other way for me to put it. You know, like, I'm going for a more kind of straight line to those gains, you know? Bear with here, guys. Just my take. Just my take. But yeah, Cardano right here. I like that fib. Stream is getting jumpy. What do you mean? We having connection issues? Can anyone else let me know if they're having connection issues? Everything is stable on my side. Everything is stable on my side. But maybe not. I don't know. Let me know. We're closing in on 200 likes, ladies and gents. You legends. Thank you for that. Smash them up if you haven't done so already. Let's get this thing above 200. And if we kind of adjust this Fibonacci, we've got our 382 level basically where we are right now. But this is a little bit too short term, you know. And this is the thing, is I almost don't really even want to analyze these charts until, you know, we get a better picture of where Bitcoin's going. Because, you know, if Bitcoin does, for example, slip below 116.9, then the chart really changes quite a bit. And bear in mind, it's already changed by quite a bit. You know, we've looked at this on the daily, and we have printed so far. Now, granted, again, there's 7 hours left on this daily candle. But we have printed a bearish engulfing candle that engulfed not just 1, 2, but 3 of the previous candles got engulfed in this 1 day of trading. So that is usually a pretty bad sign of things to come. So that's something to pay attention to. Equivalent, you know, on the other side, we had this, you know, bearish candle here, and then we get a bullish engulfing where this candle completely engulfs the previous candle of trading. And then we end up going very, very well from there. So, you know, it's both. It works in both directions. But right now, it's working in the bearish direction. So it's going to be something that I want to keep a close eye on. Because it's a representation of strength, right? Like, what took us, you know, 3-4 days to get here was wiped out in 1 day. That is going to be interpreted as weakness. Even if it's not. Even if it's just a long liquidation, it will be interpreted as weakness. But like I always say, you know, Bitcoin is not as autonomous of a market as people kind of make it out to be. These are always more of an S&P 500 question these days. And the S&P 500 looks really calm. And, you know, we don't know what's going to happen with Trump and Putin tomorrow, but if that goes well, then it's kind of game over. You know what I mean? Like, that would really, you know, cement a lot of factors here. So I think it's, you know, well worth paying attention to. I happily pay high taxes in a civilized country like Japan, but no way I would in a third world country like the UK. I understand that, dude. I understand that. Japan's cool. Bit too Japanese for my liking. It was like overwhelmingly Japanese. But it was cool, and I want to go again. I went with my dad last time. You are using us for your walking because walking and no one to talk with is fucking boring. Yeah, you're kind of right. You're kind of right. Kind of. But there's so many amazing podcasts these days, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, if boredom is the problem, like, who do you even watch these days? There's so much going on all the time. Like, I've been enjoying the Macron drama. Because Macron's a fucking freak. You know what I mean? And seeing how Candace Owens has been kind of ripping him, you know, apart has been quite entertaining, you know? I don't like Candace Owens. I think she's... she's not as sophisticated as she tries to make herself seem. But, still pretty sophisticated for sure. You can be well-connected, powerful with money, and still think in quite basic ways. And I think she proves that she can do that. Not all the time, but sometimes. But man, seeing that beef between her and that weird fucking French dude, and his even weirder man-wife, that's entertaining, you know what I mean? Like, you can easily bang out an hour or two walking, you know, listening to content about that. Smash up those likes, ladies and gents, closing in on 200. Which walking treadmill did I get? I don't know, bro. I bought it a long time ago. It's just something on Amazon. But I know that it was around like $300-400. Aside from the accent, you speak like an American man. Love from the US. Thank you very much. What makes you say I speak like an American man? I'm curious what made you say that. Macron's story is horrible, but we all know something is true in that story. Yeah, of course, dude. Of course. 14 years old and dating your teacher. Okay, bro. You fucking weirdo. That's all there is, bro. That's all there is to that story. I've done weird shit in my life, but even I'm judging that, bro. I've done a lot of weird shit in my life, but I'm judging that. Because that's fucking strange, man. I'm not even the kind of guy that passes judgment, and, you know, I couldn't care less, but... Getting slapped in the face, bro, on a plane. Cocaine with the fucking UK Prime Minister. Just unhinged. How did a French even vote for that guy? He speaks English. He's from England. You are right. Yeah. I get very offended when people say, I'm speaking American. No, you're fucking not. You're speaking English improperly. That's what's happening. But anyway, who cares? We lost the whole world, didn't we, bro? We're not that relevant anymore, are we? Maybe one day. Maybe. Probably not, though. Probably not. It's not looking good, bro. It's a big downtrend, isn't it? UK used to be respected, man. Even just go back 15, 20 years. It used to be respected. Solana against Bitcoin holding very well. That's what I'm saying. I'm liking the strength. And a lot of these altcoins right now. They're telling me a different story than, you know, than what Bitcoin's telling me. Bitcoin's telling me the whole world is on fire. Altcoins are saying, hey, we're ready. We're ready to go. Just give us the sign and we'll shoot. That's what these altcoins are saying to me. Oh, yeah. So, Senza says, I wasn't trying to offend you. Of course not. No, I didn't take it as offensive. But, yeah, thanks for clarifying. It's not how you're speaking. It's what you're saying. Sounds like a man that loves freedom. I do love freedom. I do love freedom, of course. Of course. And, of course, America exemplifies that quite well, for the most part. With some pretty weird exceptions. But yeah, absolutely. And in my opinion, it's a shame that we associate loving freedom with America. You know, that should kind of be something that happens all over the world, but it doesn't. Anyway, here's Bitcoin still dropping down, 117.5. Let's see where this thing goes. If it's going to sweep that low. If it sweeps that low, I don't see how it's going to bounce up again. You know, it's probably just going to have to head down to the bottom of the range from there. What's my favorite airline? It's got to be Emirates, bro. It's got to be Emirates. Singapore is fantastic, though. Singapore is very, very nice. I've heard Qatar is great. Never flown Qatar. Never been to Qatar. But Emirates, dude, how do you top Emirates? Yeah. And then especially, you know, like, with the life I've managed to build in Dubai, you know, like, even if I'm not going to Dubai, it's really nice to stop in Dubai. You know, if I'm headed somewhere else. Dubai is great, man. Everybody should get residency in Dubai. Everybody. Texas in the house. What's going on, Texas? Just bought some Solana, and I'm waiting for Solana around 168, 170 in the worst case. Let's see Solana against the dollar. Against the dollar, it's probably looking quite interesting right now. Again, I want to throw some fibs on this, though. So, which fib do I throw on? Let's just do a couple. We'll start on the daily. Yeah, we'll start on the daily. And what we're going to do, I want to see a few different fibs here. I'm going to push this to the side a little bit more. And the first fib I want to throw on is from the absolute low to the absolute high, which is over here. And we've got a golden pocket that sits between 170 to 162. And we haven't even hit the 382 level yet. I don't think this looks like a good fib. So we'll draw it up to the current high that we've got instead. And 382 still showing 166 as an important level, which does make sense. Let's tighten this up. This is the first fib I actually wanted to do. Because I probably think it's going to be a little bit more relevant for this market. And yeah, we've got a little bit of support right here at the 236. And quite a bit right here at about the 382. Very, very nice support at the 382. And this level sits at 178. So that's going to be interesting to watch out for. And then the final fib I do want to look at is all the same, but just drawing it from the much more recent low from, what was this? August. Beginning of August. And if we look at it from this perspective, we're at the 382 right now, and 618 lines up with this level. Yeah, I just, you know what? The fibs didn't really tell me much. I like this yellow box. I like this yellow box, and I like the top of this yellow box as well. Steven says, I love to drink alcohol. I can't live in Dubai. I don't know, dude. If you love drinking alcohol, Dubai might be your place. Was getting the Dubai residency easy? Yeah, it's ridiculously easy. I can set you up. I've set up a lot of people in Dubai. People that you've heard of. Famous. I won't name them, obviously. But, yeah, I've got all the connections. Dubai's all connections. It's all connections. But it's a small place, you know? And it helps being a YouTuber because, you know, then you've got clout. Everybody wants to know you, stuff like that. So it's just even easier to build your connections. So it's very easy to get set up in Dubai. If you want to get set up, just find one of the links in the description to my socials, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you like. You can even message the team on Telegram. Somebody get back to you. And we'll get you that information for sure. It is very hot in Dubai. Yeah. It's like 50 degrees every day. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. It's probably like 110, 120. Maximum humidity. It's actually a nightmare. It's terrible. But everything's air conditioned, so you're just inside. But yeah, dude, you know, like, if you love to drink, you're not going to have a problem in Dubai. I don't, you know. You guys got to go to Dubai, man. Like, that is the party capital of that side of the world. Bars are everywhere. It's easy to buy alcohol. It's fun to buy alcohol there, actually, because you can't buy it in the city. You got to go on an excursion. You feel like you're doing something naughty. Drive like an hour away. And then you get the most British man you've ever seen in your life, passionate about whiskey, telling you which whiskey to buy. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Those of you in the UAE will know. Trump's supposed to talk soon. Yeah, let's see if that does anything. One of my friends asked me to be live while Trump was meeting Putin. I don't really think it's going to have an impact on the market, you know, so I'm not really sure, but we can definitely think about it. This is how I got two charts on the side. You can see this button up here. By default, obviously, you're on this one, but you can have, you know, quite a number of variations of charts. But I just kind of keep one on the side there. And Bitcoin is pumping up right now quite well, sitting at 118K right now. So let's pull up the Bitcoin chart on the big screen here. Zoom in onto the hourly. And it looks like this wick is being recovered a little bit. Can we speak about a double top? Where's the double top, bro? You mean basically from the previous all-time high 30 days ago? If that's what you're saying is a double top. I mean, yeah, it could be right now. But, I'm not really worried. I'm not really worried. I do know that Bitcoin likes double tops, though. Do you need an alcohol passport? No, you don't. No, you don't. I think as long as you don't show up looking, you know, like very religious, you'd probably be fine. And I think most people interested in the question, can I buy alcohol, are going to have no problems buying alcohol. How does it look if we zoom out to the weekly or monthly? You know, I don't really analyze those time frames, but I'll look at them because you asked them nicely. Let's look at another chart. So weekly is not looking good. We got 3 days left. Weekly is looking like we might be stuck sideways for another few weeks or months, or that we might drop down quite aggressively. Monthly is also looking a little bit stretched, but we've also got more than half of the month left, so way too early to say. The last monthly candle looked a little bit stretched as well, a little bit. I can't say I'm seeing something concerning though, even with the weekly in mind. Just because we've got so much support above 100 now. Cost of living is high in Dubai? Yeah, it can be. Depends how much you want to show off. If you don't care about showing off, it's actually a lot cheaper than you'd expect. When I first moved to Dubai, my rent in the Burj Khalifa, the big one, the big building, the tallest building in the world, was cheaper than my rent in the UK. I'm just saying. It just is what it is. Now, obviously, things are a lot more expensive, but yeah, they're doing quite well. Like, fuel prices are basically free. You get, like, a full tank of petrol for, like, £100, $130, whatever. I don't know. That's probably normal for you guys in America. I don't know. Appreciate your kindness taking the time to look. Yeah, absolutely. Someone says that they think it's already over. It's just a reaction of people and inflation, and I agree for the most part. Like, even if we drop, I think that, like, for the most part, this move is now over. But we'll see. I'd expect the tallest building in the world to be overpriced just because, but it's not. I mean, it is, but it's, like, still reasonable considering how prestigious it was. I was paying about £2,000 a month, maybe less, at the beginning. But yeah, Dubai's great, man. It's so safe. You know, like, you can just have your woman, be it your mom, your girl, your daughter, your sister, roaming around at night, anywhere. Safe. Don't even have to worry. You can't put a price tag on that. You cannot put a price tag on that. Gas in Belgium is €1.70 per litre. Yeah, it's pretty cooked out there, man. It's pretty cooked. But you can't put a price on that, man. Those conveniences of knowing that your family is always safe, you know, stuff like that. That's game-changing. We completely forgot what that means in the West. I never experienced it. You know, when I grew up in London, my God, you know? London was already kind of degenerating at that time. $3.20 for a gallon in New York. I don't even understand gallons, man. That shit's so weird to me. Why can't you guys just do liters? That's what I'm wondering, man. Hit those likes, people. Thank you very much, a fool. Appreciate that. Smash them up. We're very close to 200 likes. Very, very close. Alright, we've been walking non-stop for 80 minutes now. 8-0. I think it's time for me to turn this off for a minute. And just chill. Abu Dhabi Sovereign Wealth Fund reports a $534 million Bitcoin ETF position. Nice. Nice. Okay. Give myself a tiny break here. About 4 gallons in a litre, yeah. But then there's like a British gallon, and then there's an American gallon. They added Rush to Battlefield 6 Beta. My man coming in here with the alpha. Yeah, I'll be on Battlefield 6 tonight. PS5. I'll do it on the PS5. I don't know. If everyone... I haven't seen my messages, but if people are hitting me up about PC, then I might jump on PC instead. But can I look at Sui? Yeah. We were looking at Sui actually, and you know, obviously it looks interesting for trades. It's just a very irrational coin, you know, which is kind of a little bit concerning, obviously. But let's take a look and see what Sui's saying over here. Yeah, like, I can't really, like, read anything on this chart, you know? It just looks like it's kind of consolidating, getting ready to pop up, you know, and that's still looking good. I wish we would adopt the metric system, well, ours doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't. Not at all. Not at all. Like, kilometers are better. Centimeters. What is an inch, bro? You know? Like... yeah. Daily, weekly. I mean, you know, you're looking at a very irrational altcoin here, so I don't really like the weekly for this, but yeah, it just looks like it's trying to pump. You know, it's clearly in good posture. I streamed during both of the last 2 tops. Yep. Yeah, you're right, man. I did. Dude, Bitcoin's just topping too quick. You know, like, I thought we'd have, like, a few hours of kind of blue sky, but, hey, we'll get there, and we'll be live when that happens, too. Make sure you are subscribed, of course, so that you don't miss that. Ethereum's recovering better. Let's see that against Bitcoin first. No, not really. Not really. Let's see it against the dollar. Yeah, it's actually dipping down. It's safe to say we're all retail plebs. Yeah, I think that much was obvious. Gotta run, Sammy. Thanks for your time in Alpha. Have an awesome day or night. Thank you very much, Tim, man. Appreciate it. Have a great day. Bitcoin to 0? Yeah, sure. Ondo. Let's take a look at Ondo. Where's the chart? I like using the I like using these charts. A little bit more neutral. And Ondo's looking nice. Ondo's looking really good. But it's not that I would go long on this, though, because... you know, it does depend on Bitcoin, obviously. But, I mean, how long has it managed to stay steady here for? Okay. For a little bit of time. I mean, it looks like it's going to lose this low. That's the only problem. Thanks for the live stream. Gotta go. Take it easy, Geo. Thanks for tuning in, bro. What does TIL mean? TIL next time. TIL. Thanks. Thanks what? TIL. What does that stand for? So many noobs entering the space now. Feels toppy. I had a friend ask me for Bitcoin advice after I told him to buy during 20k days. Interesting. I'm not seeing much of that. But I'm sure it's happening. Till next time. Oh, of course. It means till next time. This is what I'm saying, man. It's too easy to embarrass yourself on a stream. Do you... oh, I don't understand that question. You can reword your question, Mark the point. Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin is not what you want to see if you want a further bear market. What? Blame the Puritans. They made all the early American mistakes. But yeah, Ondo looking good. For sure. It's just obviously like right on the cusp of breaking down as well. Wait, hang on a minute. It's only looking good on the hourly. Yeah, let me clarify that. Outside of the hourly, it's a much more kind of jumbled up chart. Oh no, it's still okay. It's still okay. No, it's actually still really good. Ondo's still actually looking really good. Let's see Ondo against Bitcoin. Oh, not a common pair. Okay, we'll use CoinX. I mean, that's nice. I like that. I like that because I like buying coins when they're low, you know, against Bitcoin or whatever. Was the CME gap filled? 17.4 is the CME gap. So yes, it was. Nearly filled. We'll take a look at that in a moment here. But Ondo against the dollar is looking a lot more interesting. And, you know, obviously if the support level holds, this turns into a really, really nice entry. And fairly easy to put a stop loss down. 9678 maybe. It's a 3% wide stop loss. 5.6x. Yeah, definitely looking good. But again, it's just wholly dependent on Bitcoin bouncing. So, you know, I wouldn't want to like have too much faith in that as well. Ondo's got a massive symmetrical triangle playing out, which looks a little bit like this. Hang on. I don't really like the symmetrical triangle. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that one, but I like the support level. There's a few things lining up quite well for Ondo right now. But again, it's a Bitcoin question, you know? Like, it's not going to be able to bounce if yeah. Out of the top 10 safest cities in the world, 6 are monarchies. Is democracy still sexy? You're asking the important questions here, man. You're asking the important question. I think it depends. You know? Democracy's not perfect. Monarchy's not perfect. But I think many people that live in monarchical countries are typically a lot happier than people who live in democracies these days. I think I've noticed that. Like when I say this, I'm thinking of countries like the UAE, like Singapore. You know, basically like a lot of the countries in the GCC in the Middle East. People are quite happy there. You know, because like, yeah, you don't have the right to vote, but you kind of have everything else. You know, when people want to vote in the West, it's because they want a better life. But that better life already exists for people in those Middle Eastern countries. You know, so it really depends on what values you know, you hold closely to yourself. Democracy is sick if your whole population isn't fucking retarded. You know, but like the UK, for example, has been locked in, you know, a horrible two-party system for a long time. And it's not that the population's retarded, it's just that they've never actually studied anything. And what they have studied was largely just brainwashing. I think the problem that every democracy eventually runs into, if the country gets poor enough, is that the winning party will be the party that gives free shit to people. But giving free shit to people is not sustainable, and it crashes the economy. And it crashes the world. And that's what's happened in America. Social Security accounts for like 30% of America's budget, does it not? Something massive. I'm not saying Social Security should be axed, obviously. Those safety nets are important. They keep people alive. You know? But if they're being exploited... You know what I mean? And more importantly, you know, these kind of social security nets, you know, should be that. Like, they're safety nets if life hits you hard. They're not something to live on for your whole fucking life. And that's what a lot of the West does. And that's why it doesn't work. Like, you want to have these safety nets, but you don't want people using them. You want to limit how many people use them. And the best way to limit that is to make people rich. It's to make people rich. What do I think of the Swiss method with the referendums? Dude, the Swiss direct democracy method looks fantastic on paper, but if you look at what they've done to their country, they're not winning either. You know what I mean? Like, they're not in a good place either. They're obviously the best out of Europe by many, many measures. Here's Bitcoin dipping again. Let's see if it sweeps these lows. Sean says, yes, you're exactly right. That's what's happening in the USA. The lower poverty class is getting so large that all future elections are going to begin swaying that way. Not enough people doing good enough. That's the problem. That's what I'm saying. You know, and like this is going to get a lot harder with AI now as well, taking even more opportunities for humans to work. I don't know, man. It's honestly like, I think it's like the most pressing question, because if you're going to constantly get left-wing governments that promise free shit to the population, you're also going to constantly get governments that run your country into the ground. And you can't get away from it. You know? So, like, it's literally been, I swear, like, look at the numbers. It's literally been, like, the leftist governments of the world that give out free shit, ruining the world, and private corporations lifting the world up to the best of their ability through creating wealth. And that's it. Like, if we didn't have those corporations, there would be nothing left to fund this machine. And it's clearly not working. Whether it's the dollar getting weaker, or debt going up, or interest rates still being very high because of all of that stuff. Or in the UK, net taxation gains going down in certain categories. It's just not a sustainable model. The only way you can make this work is if you get everybody rich. Your whole country needs to be rich. That's how Switzerland gets to have a democracy without degeneracy everywhere. It's because their people are wealthy. And a lot of the time this boils down to, like, you know, spawn point advantages. You know, in the Middle East, these motherfuckers spawned with a bunch of oil. You know, and they're funded for life. They're funded for generations. And as long as they don't fuck that up, they're good. You know, like, so these questions don't even come up because people are wealthy. But, you know, when people aren't wealthy and then the answer becomes, okay, well, the government will just give you money. Well, now you've created a loop that never closes. You can't take it away once you give it. And the alternative is, yeah, you get everybody working, get everybody, you know, making money, but, you know, if jobs aren't paying well and rents are too high and, you know, home ownership is out of the window, again, you're just not incentivized to contribute toward the economy. We've entered an economy now where you need to be, like, far above exceptional to get anywhere in life. I'm talking about people, like, at my age. At my age, I'm 24. Like, you're nobody if you're not clearing certain income thresholds these days. You know, which is, like, it's very multifactorial how we ended up here, and it's not as simple as, you know, most people will point to just one thing. It's not like that. But, you know, good government policy stimulates, or I should say, like, limited government policy stimulates private sectors. If you have less regulation, less taxation, less red tape, less bureaucracy, less bullshit, basically, more people can do more shit. And if more people can do more shit, you have an economy that starts thriving. This is why I say you guys gotta go see Dubai. You gotta go see how Dubai does it. Dubai is a city run like a company. And they know it. If Dubai suddenly starts passing laws that make no sense, that people don't like, people will leave. Dubai will get poorer. You know, when you're a city that's been on such an aggressive uptrend for decades, an uptrend that doesn't let up, you know, they have like maybe 1 or 2 year gaps where things get a little bit shit and then it's back to amazing straight away. If you've got a city or a country that runs like that, they're incentivized to keep that going. Like, they're punching way above their weight. Didn't they just land like a rover on Mars? The UAE, that tiny Middle Eastern country, didn't they just land a rover on Mars? They did something really impressive with space exploration. You know, so they're punching way above their weight. People are far too bullish on Twitter. I don't see a single bearish person. Really? Because I saw the opposite. Let's see what Twitter's looking like. Let's see what we got. Trump's calling for a 300 basis point rate cut, set to replace Fed Chair Powell. They need to do something, man. He's been talking about this for a while. Let's start axing some positions now. You know, like let's do something here. Do not send screenshots to your friend. Yep, someone sent screenshots, and now we all have to pay for it. That's always how it goes. Feels like Sol outperforming us, cursing us. It might be the new It might be the new ETH. Either it's going to giga bounce if we bottom, or we got to use it as the new counter indie on a trend down indicator, of course. I'm not really seeing anything bullish or bearish. Probably a little bit more bullish, yeah. But again, like, I think there's reason to be bullish right now. You know, like, the market's still in a good place. I mean, like, we're still in an uptrend. I think people are forgetting this, you know, just because we dipped yesterday. Like, let's not have such fish, you know, goldfish level memories here. You know, like, it's a 6K pullback, you know, or like a 6.5K pullback. It's just not. Bitcoin's, you know, at 117K. That's just not that crazy. But, I mean, you guys know me, innit? Like, I could see Bitcoin drop 40% and I wouldn't be worried. You know, like, I've been doing this for a long time, innit? You know, I understand how Bitcoin moves now. And you guys need to, you know, like, if you're a little bit new, you need to catch up, you know, and understand this stuff ASAP, because it'll stop you from being worried and, you know, all that stuff that you realistically don't need or want. Yeah, I've seen some messages about people reaching out for Dubai residency. If you guys want to get set up in Dubai, just hit me up. Telegram, member of the team will get back to you. Instagram, Twitter. We can get pretty much anybody set up. How much does it cost? Depends. But it's going to be like 5 figures US. But it really depends. It could be very low. It could be like $2,000-$3,000 for some people. Actually, goldfish have long-term memories better than humans. Wow, thank you for that. Yeah, I didn't know that. No Fed chairman has ever been replaced by the government. Powell ain't going anywhere, unfortunately. Keep walking while you're talking, Sammy. Yeah, I will keep walking. Good point. No, yeah, of course, we're aware that the White House cannot replace the Fed chair, but, you know, it's a very simplistic way of viewing this because they do still have other forms of power that they can exercise. There's a lot, you know, like, there's a lot of cards that you have when you're president, believe it or not. You know, like, they'll be able to do something if they really want to. I don't think anybody is, you know, particularly safe from that perspective. And really, I believe that applies everywhere in the world. Yeah, the S&P is barely down. It's barely down, but it's clearly exacerbated this Bitcoin problem. It's clearly made this Bitcoin problem a little bit worse. Looks like we closed the gap. Yeah, we probably did. Probably did. Let's take a look at that on CME. CME, and... Nope, no, we didn't. Not on CME, anyway. Oh, wait, yeah, no, we did. I missed this. Is this how it works? No, it's not. Yeah, no, the gap is down here. We haven't filled it on the CME chart. But again, man, I just really don't care about the CME chart. But yeah, it looks like, you know, there is obviously something here. Alright, guys, we're probably going to be wrapping this stream up around about here. See you later, Daniel. Yeah, probably going to wrap this stream about here, and then if something else happens, of course something else will happen later on. We'll be back later on today. Yesterday we were streaming until quite late, did 2 live streams. I'm very happy to do that again today with you ladies and gents today. So if something does come up, we'll be back. Make sure you are subscribed. You've got the bell icon checked. If you're interested in these beautiful exchanges, check them out. If you're not from a restricted region, if you're interested in our one-to-one program, check this link out. Reach out and ask us for the information. Smash up those likes, subscribe, tick the bell. If you join our free Telegram channel linked over here, we'll give you updates on the next live stream. And like I said, I do think we're going to be live again in a few hours. But probably going to head for now. And obviously now that I'm leaving the live stream, Bitcoin's probably going to do something very fun. So if you want to stick around for an extra 20 minutes, you might see some interesting price action. When people start getting excited about altcoins, I start to exit my position, so I leave the losing money to you guys. I love that attitude, bro. I love that attitude. How do you feel about crypto ETFs? I don't really care. Probably a bad thing overall, but at least it means money comes in. Sergeant Squid, thanks, mate. Looking forward to the next one. Absolutely, yeah. We'll be back in a bit. We'll be back in a bit. Make sure you got your notifications on. Make sure you're in the free Telegram channel. All right, ladies and gents, thanks for tuning in. It's been an hour and 40 minutes. It's been a pleasure. See you all on the next one. Cheers.